Welcome to Red Chameleon. If you like the video, please smash the like button. Today's AskReddit question is, students of Reddit, has anyone in your online classes had a no-hit moment after realizing their microphone or camera was still on? If so, what were they doing? Let's get started. Someone in one of our huge official department meetings was unmuted. You could hear her boyfriend ask in the background, "What are y'all doing?" And she said, "Just a stupid meeting, we not doing hit." It was hilarious. She got kicked out of the meeting though. My girlfriend told me a story of her taking an online Zoom Pilates class at the beginning of everything shutting down. The Zoom meeting was set up in presenter instead of gallery mode, so whoever is speaking is on the main screen. She said in one of the poses, someone farted and their camera popped up on the screen for everyone until the next instruction. Super awkward. Teacher was teaching an online class, grinds, which are extracurricular. There were a ton of audio issues and people kept saying they couldn't hear him. Eventually he said that we would postpone the class to a couple days later, and that we could all leave the meeting now. Of course, I'm pretty sure this isn't the most tech-savvy guy. So he didn't realize that most of us couldn't tell he said to leave. Audio issues again. And so we hung around a couple more minutes. Somehow, it was a lot more audible when he tossed his glasses onto the table and said, "That was a ducking disaster." I then realized that it was time to go. One of my classmates was talking to someone off screen about how hitty the class is and how stupid our lecture is. Her mic and camera were both on. She was rambling for about 30 seconds. When the lecturer just said her name, she just looked over at her screen, leaned forward a tad. Then her eyes went wide. She covered her mouth. She immediately left the meeting, and haven't seen her in class since. This was 2 weeks ago. I'd never go back to. Our maths teacher is terrifying but doesn't really know how to work a computer. He was messing everything up and kept accidentally muting himself and stuff. Anyway, this girl in my class forgot to mute herself, and basically spent a good 2 minutes dissing him with an impressive range of obscenities. At some point, she realized that she was broadcasting her extremely low opinions of our teacher to the entire class. The teacher was very unhappy, and the girl immediately left the class. I thought I had muted myself, and I was just doing my work and singing "I'll Make a Man Out of You" from Mulan, because I had it stuck in my head. Then I looked at my computer and realized I wasn't muted and then quickly said, "Sorry, I accidentally unmuted myself," and the teacher said no worries. I could hear her laugh a little. I wanted to curl up and just lie in a hole. Once my very adorable classmate sang "Happy Birthday" so cheerfully while our professor was discussing. She only noticed it when she came back to class and saw our reactions in the chat. It was her dog's birthday. She then apologized for it. Oh hitoa, real quick. I was browsing social media, as one does in the middle of a lecture, then expressed surprise at something I saw in there to my girlfriend. Little did I know my mic was on, and the teacher stopped class to ask what I said. My dad is a college professor, who is in his first semester of online classes. I moved in with him and mom to help take care of them during quarantine, and have extended my stay to help them with the inevitable slew of tech issues. Dad calls up saying, "Can you come down a minute? I keep getting disconnected from the video. Are you broadcasting now?" "No, I disconnected. I just gotten out of the shower, so figuring time was essential. I threw on a pair of shorts before quickly heading down. I round the desk to check out the issues, start clambering through the mess of overlapping windows and options he'd left open for me to sift through. And then I find the window showing all the active video feeds of his class. Yep, it was still up and working, and in the upper left corner, there I was, my fuzzy gut flopping around at all sorts of grotesque angles as I was leaning over the unappealing lit desk. Now instead of shrieking like a little girl, I kinda just looked into the camera and said, "Good morning, folks. Hey, Professor Dad. Bad news. Mostly for them. Your camera's working perfectly." Apparently, when he said he disconnected, he meant the shared screen would get disabled because he would back out of the slideshow view in PowerPoint, not realizing the slideshow appears in a window separate from PowerPoint itself, and backing out just closes that window. and the share screen for it. Fortunately, none of the students reacted to me. They didn't even seem to be in the least bit entertained, as PowerPoint is known to do to people. But now if I'm anywhere near that desk, I'm putting on a nice collared shirt and combing my hair first. Because if anybody says they're disconnected from their Zoom meeting, I know those words have a very liberal range of interpretation depending on the user. Not a teacher, but my wife is. She said that anytime she is in her class live streaming, our 4-year-old will go use the potty and yell at her, "I'm done." Or anytime she smells something bad, she will come up and ask her, "Did you toot?" I asked her if she did, and that's why she is asking. She denies it, but I think otherwise. Yeah, I have a 2-year-old. Many of my coworkers have heard her bust into the office yelling, "Mommy, I went poopy." My 7th grade daughter turned on her Zoom meeting for her very first class on her first day of school, saw the face of the student who was currently talking, and yelled, "Not Victoria. I hate Victoria." I asked her if her microphone was muted, and she looked at her screen horrified, slammed her laptop shut, ran out of the room yelling, "I quit school." It was a rough first day. It's me, I'm the student. It happened yesterday actually. My buddy and I like to chat over Discord while attending classes. Yesterday we were discussing almost to the point of screaming about the NBA playoffs. I don't have any horse in that race, since my Spurs didn't make it this year, but we were speculating which teams are going to make the finals. My bet was Lakers versus Heat, and I made a very long and somewhat loud argument defending my prediction that my whole class got to hear because I accidentally left the Zoom mic open. There was a very awkward silence followed by laughter from my classmates and my teacher, whose face screamed second-hand embarrassment. One of my classmates told me that they listened to me in silence for a solid 30 seconds before I realized